Alright, well, I'm back for part two. I just uploaded part one. My video, my recording decided to just quit. It said storage was full. I don't know what the deal was with that. I apologize for that. It just automatically quit, and I didn't get a chance to finish out the video. But so I'm finishing it out now. I think where I left off was something about along the lines of the dual density outsole, and it still has the non-removable pour-on insole on these boots. Get back in here to this. But yeah, as you can see, it's got that same construction on the inside pretty much as the old pair. Same stitched on tag on the inside as the old pair, but I believe the leather quality on these is supposed to be a lot better than on the older brands to help improve the durability. They do the nice Puritan triple stitch on the back strap there all the way up the top. I mean, that's just the thing with Redwings. They use that Puritan triple stitch, and I mean, I'm telling you, that makes the biggest difference. These boots, you just don't really have the failures from them. The one thing that I have noticed since I've looked at these boots and everything is on the back here, on the sides, if it probably ain't gonna show up on camera that well, but maybe like that it will. There's like a big rim right here where I don't know, like when they was sanding, maybe when they was sanding down this or something wasn't in line or something. I don't know what the deal was, but there's this overhang right here on the outsole, but that's not that big of a deal. That's not going to affect the way they wear. It's just a cosmetic thing. I'm not that nitpicky. Basically, I want the boots to fit, and I want everything to be even on them. I want the eyelets to be even spaced on both sides. I don't want nothing off. And I don't want nothing falling apart before you get a chance to wear it. So, and they, having that overhang on the outsole is just, it's hard to tell. It could have been maybe the mold that the boot was clamped into. Maybe something was misaligned in there, so when it poured the urethane, it left a overhang ridge. It's really hard to say, but we'll get the other pair out here so you can kind of see how these are. This other pair here isn't even. This other pair here isn't even laced up yet. They've still got the factory knot where they just put the lace through the bottom eyelet and then tie the knot in the string. These ones also have that overhang. Probably not as bad in some places. Like it's got a little bit of overhang right through there. And then there you can kind of see some of it going overhang right through there. But yeah, I'm sure something wasn't lined up in the mold jig very well. But they went ahead and they passed them in the factory, not calling them factory seconds. I guess they determined that that wasn't going to affect the way the sole would adhere to the welt or anything like that. It wasn't like it was going to leak or fall apart, so they went ahead and let it go. But yeah, you can see that's got the the nice Redwing logo right there, and that really tacky, grippy outsole. The dual density outsole, it's kind of hard to, by feeling on it and pushing on it. There might be a little bit of squish there. Yeah, there is a little bit more squish there on there now. And I just remembered something else that was supposed to be one of the other features about these newer updated versions is the outsole is supposed to be lighter. It's not supposed to weigh less, so the boot is overall lighter on the foot. And even being a steel toe cap, you aren't getting the weight that the old model had with the old Supersole, and they're even doing dual densities and still able to cut the weight down, which is pretty phenomenal. I'm sure when these boots break in, they're going to be absolutely comfortable. It's got the same speed hooks as the old model, the same bent, single piece bent and pressed speed hooks. I was kind of hoping when they come out with this updated version that they would go to solid machine speed hooks here instead of using the same old speed hooks. But just like on the old models, they do feel beefy and sturdy. I don't think they're going to be collapsing very easily. They still feel, that they're made out of steel and they're going to hold up. Some people that catch them and break them off or mash them flat, it feels like it's going to take something more than what the strain of just lacing them up and wearing them is going to put on those speed hooks. I don't think, if you're catching them on something and breaking them off or mashing them flat, then I don't know, like, it's almost as if your leg must be getting caught in something and crushed or something, because just with my finger I can't push that closed, and some of them that are pressed brass, you can actually push them and mash them closed with your fingers, some of them, but these ones you can't. These are solid. They don't appear to be going anywhere under normal wear conditions. I don't see them having a problem. Of course, they're put in the side. They're anchored into the leather the same way that the old ones were, where they do that flower petal effect that rivets the speed hook and the eyelets into the leather. Yeah, you're not pulling that out. That's going to... You have to have that whole leather around that completely fall apart due to drying out and cracking apart and rotting apart to get those to pull out. As long as you keep this leather in good shape, nice and pliable and hydrated, you shouldn't have an issue with the hardware on these boots. I would have liked to have seen the machine speed hooks, but I think they picked a design that is tried and true, that's been on this boot for decades. And even though they are pressed, but they're steel, and they haven't had enough problems with them in the past that I'm guessing that they didn't feel the need to change it up on the hardware, and they just kept it traditional. The whole boot is pretty traditionally made. it's a really really good looking boot, even as as simple as it is. I'm pretty uh, pretty happy with them. So yeah, if you are interested in getting a pair of these, just remember the model number is 2533. Double check to make sure that's right. Maybe I can find it on this other boot. Yep. The model number is 2533. The only number they changed in the model number was the 2 from the old model and replaced it with a 5. So you get 2533 from 2233. And that should get you these updated that'll get you these updated model. The updated model of this boot is called the Supersole X, is what Redwing is calling that new updated Supersole, which is an interesting name for an outsole, the Supersole X. And I remember the Supersole 2.0 was also a rather interesting name for that one. But that one, the 2.0 Supersole series, a lot of people have gripe with those because when the boots first came out, the outsole was great. It was fantastic. It performed solidly well. And then somewhere along the line, the urethane that they were using for the harder outer density was having some issues. So there was a recall on those boots that Redwing put out that they would, I think, replace the whole boots. I'm not sure if they would replace them. I can't remember. It was either replace them or resole them. It might have just been a complete replacement. I can't remember. But so what would happen is on the 2.0 Supersole series, the outsole would completely fall apart, but it would only be the outer harder density that would do it. It would basically fall off in chunks. It almost acted like the outsole was dipped in acid, and the acid eats the outer layer off, and it just starts falling off in chunks. Very bizarre. I don't know if they have resolved that at Redwing to this day. I haven't had a pair of 2.0 Supersole series boots in a while. The last good pair I had, I wore for 10 years without the sole coming apart like that. And I actually had a blowout on the side of the boot that rendered the boot retired after 10 years. And then once I had to stop wearing the boot, then the outsole started doing the flake apart deal. And it seems to me like the boot probably does it if the boot's not worn. It just sits around. It's like something in the ozone causes that particular density of urethane to just disintegrate over time. It's either that or it's maybe, I don't know. It's odd. But I have a pair of the 2.0 Supersole series boots right over here. The last pair that I had that started doing that on me to where I couldn't wear them, and I'm thinking I'm going to get them resold so that I can start wearing them again. But this is what I'm talking about. You see how that's just, I mean, it's just absolutely, completely falling apart. And these aren't, these don't have a whole lot of wear on them. But if you look on the inner side of here, this is why I had to stop wearing these boots, because the outsole was literally dissolving on itself and falling apart in chunks. And this is probably the most bizarre problem I've ever seen a work boot company have with a particular model of boots. And the 2.0 Supersole series is probably my number one favorite boots from Redwing. And because of this problem, I've kind of been hesitant on buying another pair, because I don't want, to spend $280 on a pair of boots and then just have it do this in a month. These are the boots that I bought to replace the boots that I wore for 10 years and had no problems with. And I got a little bit of wear out of these boots, but not a not no 10 years like I got out of the first pair, because of this right here. This is such a bizarre problem. I have, with most everything that I know about work boots and outsole technology and Redwing and stuff, this particular problem boggles my mind. I cannot for the life of me figure out what the issue is that causes the outsole to do this. I've even seen cases, I've heard of cases where somebody's bought a brand new pair of these, and before they could get the boot on their foot and start breaking the boot in, the outsole literally started doing that. And that, I'm thinking, was caused because that boot was a display model on the shelf for a while before it was bought. So it just sitting on the shelf started the dissolving process of the outsole, and then the guy got it home and didn't even get to wear it. Before he got a chance to start wearing it and breaking it in, the outsole just literally fell apart. So I would imagine that turned into a warranty claim from Redwing. If not even a recall claim. I'm sure it might have even went to recall, just because they are aware of the problem. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know if they've resolved it with coming up with a new formulation of the urethane or what, but the original urethane used in the original Supersole series boots didn't have that problem, and it was a harder it's a harder urethane that was always tried and true, and it didn't have that problem. It didn't dissolve on itself, but these 2.0 Supersole series boots did. And at first, when it started happening, I kind of chalked it up to maybe being just a bad batch of urethane that they got a hold of. Chemically, it was just probably not formulated correctly. But as the problem persisted in the series of boots for years and plagued so many pairs of boots, it became more aware that it wasn't just a bad batch of urethane. This was a complete problem that was going to plague almost every pair of boots. And unfortunately, I can't wear the boot. It really bummed me out, because I bought these at the same place I bought the new boots I have now. And now when you go to the store, they don't carry the 2408. These are the 2408s, if it's coming up. Yeah. So these are the 2408 Redwings They're the 8-inch unlined 2.0 Supersole series steel toe. They don't have these on the shelf anymore. They have the 2406, which is the 6-inch version of this boot. But I like the 8-inch version because I like the ankle support and the leg support and the way it all tightens up around my leg. The 6-inch feels weird to me. It feels like I'm missing something all the time. So, but the only thing this does is actually give you a glimpse into the technology of what it was supposed to be. So you have this black part right here. That's the real spongy, low density, cushiony urethane inner core, and then this piece that's flapping. That's the outer, harder density of urethane that provides the durability and the grip and traction, but it just flaps now. It's the best I can describe it is it just looks like it's acid damage, like the boot was exposed to acid. But I've never had a job in any kind of a chemical company that deals with acids in my life, so my boots are never subjected to acid. It's just such a bizarre problem to me, and probably to a lot of other people, especially people that are fans of Redwing boots, and what the people that like me that know Redwing boots and what their potential is, and what they know what the boots can do and how they should perform. And then when you have something like this happening, it's so bizarre. I mean, I can't really sit here and say that it's unacceptable, because stuff happens, and it takes time and brain power to figure out how to resolve it and improve on it and make it better. And as far as the future of the 2.0 Supersole series, I hope that they've got it resolved and they still can do the same technology. It's just, I think they've got to reformulate the urethane a better way or something to where it doesn't do this. But yeah, this is just so bizarre to me. But yeah, that's the dreaded outsole dissolving issue on the 2.0 Supersole series boots. It's so disappointing because you've got this nice premium Redwing leather from SB Foot and Tannery that and it's married up with this Puritan triple stitch and Puritan double stitch. The boot is solid. I mean, they did use the solid brass machine speed hooks on this model, and these boots are so solid and so tried and true. But you have this outsole issue, and it just makes people ask why. Why does this problem exist, and what's the steps to fix it? And I think that's exactly what it is it's just time and brain power. Somebody that's a lot smarter than me has to be the one to figure it out. I mean, right there you can see the fiberglass shank that goes in these boots sticking out right there. I mean, just a hole has formed straight to the shank. It's so disappointing, and it's not like I never wore the boots. I did get some wear out of them, but there still was so much life left in this leather that when the sole started going like that, it almost felt like it was a waste of a boot in a sense. So I mean, fortunately, these are resolable, so they can cut that bad urethane right off of there, and they can cement on another outsole. Uh, I know a lot of people, when they get these resoled, they'll go to like a Vibram, a mini lug or something, or a Vibram Stars and Bars lug outsole that they glue on these, just to get away from the core issue of this outsole, so that maybe they can have some reliability out of the boot with the Vibram outsoles. But yeah, that's what was the result of that. So I think that's what's kind of steered me in the direction of going with these model boots, even though this is an older design. But now it's updated, and they've done the same technology, but they've done it a different way. So since they've started doing the dual density stuff on these, that's what's got me curious, is will it be the same, underfoot cushion that we got from the 2.0 Supersole series, except now we have a dual density urethane formulation that works and doesn't, fall apart randomly due to ozone in the air, the ozone of the air, or some kind of, random atrocity. I feel like this dual density urethane formulation, I think, is going to hold up. I think it's going to, provide that reliability that they got out of the old Supersole, but with the added benefits of the dual density cushioning. But only time and wear will tell. It will tell the tale, and we shall see. The first uses of this boot, I think I'm going to use them for, is farm work around the farm that I live on. I think I can get, most of the time it's probably just going to be like tractor work and stuff. Maybe a little bit of chainsaw. I mean, they are steel toes, so I can kind of go somewhat hog wild. And Redwing claims that this boot is definitely designed for harsh work environments. They say on the website this boot is designed for oil and gas, chemicals, even the railroad industry. And a lot of people will tell you that's worked for the railroad that ballast, the ballast rock that the tracks are buried in, if you've got to work in that and you're stepping on that and crawling around on it and whatnot, it will literally shred your boots apart. And it'll be interesting to see if any railroad guys pick up this updated version and give them a run, on the ballast and in the railroad industry. Because I know previously a lot of railroad people were wearing the 2.0 Supersole series that I just showed you. And, they were getting actually a lot of life out of those too, until the delamination odd issue started. And that's always been a really comfortable boot to wear for the railroad. I mean, walking on ballast rock and stuff, and it seemed like that 2.0 Supersole, for the most part, at first was holding up really well. And then we have the random weird issues start. But we'll see if this one here does everything that I hope it does and provides the reliability of the old Supersole, but with the added benefits. So I think that's where I'm going to leave this one at. I know this. I'm sorry this had to be done in 2 parts, but like I said, I randomly ran out of storage space on my phone, and I got it resolved, and so I could start filming again. So I'll upload this, and part 1 is already uploaded. So go and check it out first. And then when you get done watching the first part, then just click on this part. This is going to be part 2 to see the rest of the video and my final thoughts on the boots and how I plan to use the boots and see if they hold up and do everything that Redwing Shoes is claiming they're going to do. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, as they say, so you don't miss out any more future videos. I'm always going to be trying to find something to film. I need to do some more military rations soon. I know I've been doing a lot of boot videos and stuff, but hopefully I can start getting some military rations coming in and doing some of those again. So stay tuned, and we'll see y'all on the next one later.